Hello everyone. First of all, in this class, we will discuss yesterday's homework questions. Okay. So, what are the yesterday's questions? Draw free body diagram for the following cases. A box on the table is moving towards right at constant velocity. Ignore air resistance. Okay. So, let us consider this is a table and this is a box. Okay. Which is moving in the right direction, means in this direction. Okay. In this direction with a constant velocity. Okay, so what are the forces acts on this body? First of all, you just tell me. First one is gravitational force. It is indicated by W. We can also say W for weight. Okay, so next, equal and opposite for this gravitational force, normal force. It is indicated by N. So is there any movement in vertical direction? No. So if there is no movement in vertical direction, then normal force is equal to gravitational force. Okay, so in vertical direction, normal force is equal to gravitational force. Because there is no movement in vertical direction, these should be balanced. Okay, so next, applied force. We are applying force in the direction of rightwards. Okay, so opposite force, what is the resistive force? Frictional force, which opposes the moment of the box. Okay, frictional force, it is indicated by small f, and applied force is capital F. So is this box moving with the constant velocity, right? If it is moving in the constant velocity, then in horizontal direction, frictional force is equal to applied force. Why? Because here these box is moving with constant velocity, right? If it is moving with ununiform motion, then only net force exists. We already learnt in the lesson force, in this lesson, right? So net force in this case is what happens? Zero. Okay, so net force is equal to zero. Okay, so this is the first free body diagram for a box on the table is moving towards the right at a constant velocity. Okay, so next, a sky driver descending with a constant velocity, means he is moving downwards with a constant velocity. Okay, so you know very well about skydiving. He is a person, he is coming towards the ground, right? So what is the force here? Gravitational force. Okay, so here normal force is absent. No, so what is the force acts here on this person? Gravitational force. Here normal force is absent. Why? Because here there is no ground as well as no ground or no table supported for this man, right? That's why normal force is absent. Okay, so here also this person is moving with the constant velocity, right? If constant velocity means nothing but a net force is equal to zero. Net force zero means what happens here? This gravitational force should be balanced by some other force. What is that force here? Air resistance. So these two forces are equal, that's why net force on this person is equal to zero. He is moving with the constant velocity. Next one is an egg falling from a freely falling egg. It is falling from a tree, from the nest on the tree. Okay, so freely falling egg means what happens here? Gravitational force is more compare with the compare with the air resistance. Okay, here net force is not zero because it is moving with the non-uniform motion. Okay, so net force here, gravitational force is more and air resistance is less. Okay, so these are the three free body diagrams for yesterday questions. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about friction. So what is friction? Friction is a force which opposes the motion of the object, right? Yes or no? So we already discussed about friction, how it is helpful us in our daily life and all, right? We discussed, but in this class and in this lesson we'll discuss detailedly about friction. So what is friction? How many types of frictions are there? And what are the factors affect this friction? And how to reduce the friction or how to increase the friction. Okay, so friction you already know very well. It is a force which opposes the motion of the object relative to the surface of the other object, right? So I think no need of definition to write now. So how many types of frictions are there? Four types of frictions are there. Okay, types of friction. How many types? Four types. What are they? First one is static friction. Second one is sliding friction. Third one is rolling friction. And fourth one is fluid friction. Okay, so first of all we'll discuss about static friction. So we already discussed about this friction, okay, in short in the lesson 4. So that's why I'm starting directly from this types of friction. Four types of static friction: sliding friction, rolling friction and fluid friction. What is static friction? Let us discuss with an example. Suppose, so each and every object, unless and until we apply external force, it stays either at a rest or it moves with a constant velocity. We already discussed in the last class, right? So static friction always acts on a body which is at a rest. Okay, so static friction is nothing but when comes into play, always acts on a body which is at a rest. Suppose I took a book, I kept on a table. Okay, so I applied a little force. Okay, take a book, keep on the table and apply a very little force. What happens in this case? These book will move in this direction? No, I applied a very little force. So in this case what happens, if I applying force in this direction means always friction acts in the opposite direction to this applied force, right? So in this case both friction and this applied force are equal. Okay, first case I'm considering F1 and suppose friction 1. So first case what happens, I applied very little force, so F1 is equal to friction. If both are balanced, is this moves displaces from this position? No, it will stays at a rest. Again I applied a more force from this direction, F2. Now what happens here in second case, applied force F2 is greater than this friction. Okay, so this friction is same, So this book is offering same friction in the both the cases, but here we applied a very less force. That's why this friction and this applied force is balanced, so no movement in the position of the book. Here what happens, the book moves in the leftward direction. Okay, in this direction book moves. So until and unless we applied a more force, this book stays at rest, right? Whenever we started, we increased gradually the force applied, then what happened, this book started moving this direction. A point where this book started moving, at what force this book started moving in the leftward direction, at that point is called static friction limit. Okay, so static friction has a particular limit. Behind that limit, this this book starts moving in the leftward direction. So what is static friction which comes into play? Comes into play when surface of objects are surface of objects are at rest relative to each other, even there exists an external force. Okay, so even there exists an external force. What is the meaning for this, we'll discuss now. So up to here we understood, right? So let us understood that these total concepts now. Okay, so take a table. Okay, let us consider this is a table. Okay, so I took a trolley. Let us, it is a toy trolley. Okay, so on this I'm taking one more, what is this, wooden block. Okay, so on this trolley I took a wooden block, tie a inextensible rope to this trolley and pass this rope through a pulley. Okay, so on other end of this rope tie weight hanger. Okay, what is this? Weight hanger. You can place different weights on this weight hanger. What is this? Pulley. Okay, so this is a setup. So first of all I am hanging one weight here. Let us consider 50 grams, 100 grams, whatever. You have to take a set of weights. Okay, so if I hang a small weight, what happens, this will move very slowly, right? So if I gradually increase these weights on this weight hanger, what happens, it starts moving. Okay, so what happens, this trolley is moving, right? This trolley is said to be in motion with respect to this surface, right? Okay, and what about wooden block? Wooden block also said to be in motion with respect to this bench surface, but with respect to trolley it is in a rest, right? Is this wooden block is moving in this direction along with this trolley moving, but really is this moving? No. So this wooden block is rest with respect to the surface of the trolley, but it is in the motion with respect to the surface of this table or bench. Okay, so if I gradually increase these weights on the weight hanger, what happens after some time this wooden block starts moving in this direction. Okay, so what happens here, so the point where that this box starts moving in this direction, that is called a static friction limit. Okay, so initially static friction is acting on these two bodies, right? Initially this wooden block is rest with respect to this trolley, even though there is external force existed, means external force is existing right here. We are placing we are placing weights right on this continuously, means external force is present, still the wooden block is in the rest with respect to the surface of this trolley. Okay, so which force acting in this case? Static force. After some time, if I gradually increase the force, weight, what happens? This wooden block started moving and in opposite direction to the trolley. So means after static limit, okay, after static friction limit, this started moving. Okay, so this is the meaning of there exists an external force also. One body is in the rest with respect to the other body. Okay, so what about this trolley? It is sliding on the surface of this trolley, right? So what is sliding friction? Sliding friction is nothing but sliding friction is a friction which comes into play when the surface of one object moves relative to the surface of the other object. Okay, so which comes into play when the surface of one object moves relative to the surface of another object. Okay, so you can think of daily life examples for sliding friction. You can see slides. Okay, you can slide on the slides, right, in the playground, especially in our school, uh, kindergarten. Slides are there. Okay, so there what happens, you are sliding on the other slider, right? Means you are you let us consider you are one body or one object, you are sliding on the other object, right? There exists a sliding friction. Okay, so what about sliding friction is always less than the static friction. Okay, so sliding friction is always less than the static friction. Third one is rolling friction. So what is rolling friction? Rolling friction is the friction which comes into play when one body or one object rolls on the other body or other object, then that is said to be rolling friction. Okay, which comes into play when one object rolls on the surface of other object. Let us take road roller. Okay, what happens, it rolls on the surface of the earth, right? So that is the best example for rolling friction. And next, trolley bags, you know very well, right? Trolley bags, vehicle tires also rolls on the road. Trolley bag also. So what happens, so here static friction is greater than sliding friction as well as rolling friction. So from among these three, rolling friction is very less and sliding friction middle, and the starting friction is high. Okay, so compared to these rolling and sliding friction, static friction is more. Okay, so when an applied force is more than the limit of the static friction, the body starts move. In the first case, static friction we discussed, right? So force applied by the floor on the book, in the first case we discussed here, right? So the book, so here friction, who applies friction on this book? Ground, right? Or floor, right? So the force applied by the force on the book is called frictional force or friction, right? Yes or no? And also in the first chapter we studied that non-uniform motion of a body takes place only when net force acts on it. If net force is zero, then there is a it is traveling with the constant velocity. Okay, you have to think like that, then only you will get a free body diagrams. Okay, so you can see in the old movies what happens in railway stations. Some persons are there to carry the bags, right? If you give money, they will carry your bags. So they keep heavy luggage on their head, not directly on the head. Why? Because if they kept directly on their head, what happens? Area, we discussed in the force, right? So to increase the area of contact, they use talapaga or what, turbans. Okay, so till now we discussed three types of friction and also force in the last class. Next, to see what are the factors affect the friction. Okay, factors affect the friction. Factors affecting friction. So let us consider. So suppose take a ball. Okay, so place your plank or any flat object against the wall. Try to place a bag or a ball on the top of your plank. Let leave. Okay, so try to measure the distance or try to observe how much distance that. Let us consider this is a wall. I'm placing a plank or a wooden block like this. Okay, so I kept a ball here and I left. What happens? This ball will move in this direction and it will go at some distance, and let us consider it is stopped here. Okay, na? It is stopped here. So next, I'm keeping a carpet or a cloth on this plank now. Okay, so next, what I did, same wall, same plank. I'm drawing little bit short. You just understood. So place a carpet without wrinkles and again do the same experiment. Now the ball moved and it is moved up to here and it stopped. Let us consider ball came here and ball came here and stopped. So in which direction? In which case? First case without carpet. Okay, in the second case with the carpet. So in second case, what happens? The distance traveled by this ball is less, right? Yes or no? You can observe from these both figures. If you do by yourself, try to do at your home. You will, everyone have ball with in your home, I think, and also you have plank. Try to do, take a small size ball and try to do this experiment. Try to verify in which case by placing a carpet and without carpet, or a cloth also you can do. So try to observe in which case the ball traveled more distance. First case only ball traveled more distance, you can observe from this figure, and you, if you do practically, you will notice this. Okay, so what's affecting here? Roughness of the surface. Here very smooth, nothing is there, just only plank, it will go very far, means it is very smooth surface. And here what happens, we kept a cloth, right? So here what happens, this here some ups and downs are there, it is not a smooth surface, that's why it is traveled very less distance, right? So from these two cases what we can understand, roughness of the surface affect the frictional force, right? Yes or no? So first one you can understood that effect of, I mean, this is we are verifying effect of roughness. Roughness of surface on friction, right? So from this we can understood, right? Roughness of the surface affect the friction, yes or no? So here roughness increased a little bit from compare with this first case, right? That's why distance traveled is very less, I mean less compare with the first case, right? So from this we can understood, or we can conclude that roughness of the surface affect the friction. Second one, first one, roughness of the surface. Next, let us find out whether the area of contact, so in first case we discussed the example of a book, kind of book, we kept a book on the bench and we applied force, and we noticed friction, whether what is the limit of friction, right? So now, so area of contact means how much area is in the contact between this book and the table, whether this affect the friction or not, we'll do the experiment now. So effect of area of contact on frictional force. Okay, so take a brick, let us consider this is a brick. So I'm tying this brick with a rope, and I tie to the spring balance. Let us consider this is a spring balance. Okay, so here on this spring balance you can see the applied force in a newtons as well. Some spring balance can show applied force in newtons, some in kilograms. Okay, in both cases you can observe the how much friction is there. Okay, so what I did here, I tied a brick to this spring balance and applying force, and I'm dragging this brick. Okay, so what happens initially, after dragging suddenly it will not move. If you keep on increasing the force applied, at some point this brick starts moving. At what point this brick started moving, you observe that is called as friction offered by this brick. Okay, suppose let us say this brick started moving at 20 newtons. Suppose I'm taking 20 newtons, means these 20 newtons is said to be friction offered by this brick. Okay, so keep this brick in this like this, how I showed like this, and do this experiment. If you do, you can find the friction offered by this brick. Again I'm doing the same experiment by placing this brick in the upward direction like this. Tie this brick again to this spring balance, okay, and again try to drag, okay, try to drag this brick. So again I got a same 20 newtons. So from this you can conclude that friction does not affected by the area of contact. Even if you keep like this or like this, friction offered by this brick is same in the both cases. If we do practically also, you will get a same, okay. So it's what we can conclude from here: area of contact does not affect the frictional force, okay, or area of contact does not influence the frictional force, okay. So whether the area of contact, here it is more, right, here it is less, in the both cases you will get a friction is same, okay. So next, third one, let us consider. So we already said, right, frictional force appears to be same in the both cases irrespective of the area of contact of the surface. So frictional force is independent of the area of contact. Next, normal force, effect of normal force on frictional force. So same again, I am doing the same experiment with the brick. I kept I tied to a spring balance, and again I am finding a friction here. Suppose let us take, in this case now I took another brick, so let us consider I got 30 newtons is the friction offered by this brick, okay. So next again I am keeping one more brick on the top of this brick, okay. This is a one brick and I am taking one more brick, and again I tied to is this, okay, spring balance. Now I got, let us take 50 newtons. What happens here? If I increase this brick, two bricks I increased, right, then friction also increased. From this we can conclude that friction is directly proportional to normal force. If a normal force, here one normal force and here also a normal force is increased, right. If normal force is increased, friction also increased, okay. If you do practically, you will get the values, okay, increased values, not the same value but increased value you will get, okay. So from this we can conclude that frictional force is directly proportional to normal force. Means if the friction is increases, if the normal force is increases, friction also increases, okay. These are the three factors which affect the we are observing these two: effect of roughness, surface roughness and smoothness will affect the friction, as well as normal force will affect, but not a contact area, okay. So that's all for this class. In next class we will discuss the about fluid friction, as well as how to increase and how to decrease the friction, okay. Thank you.